Angie Spuzak, and I'm a holistic nutritionist and personal chef. And like my affair with food started when I was a little girl, and I was going. My family was family of chefs in Poland, and I was always like, in the kitchen and trying their stuff and like advising them what to put in, what to take out, and so they called me like a little taster because I was just going from one pot to another and I was just like tasting everything. And so I was raised during the communism, so there was really not much in the stores, but fortunately our uncle had a farm, so we got everything from the farm. So like, meat and eggs and everything, and like we even made our own butter and milk and everything like that. And the other part of like a big tradition in Poland is in the summer to go to the forest and mushroom picking or berry picking or raspberries and blueberries. So everything like that was free. So we just went in the summer and we just forage in the forest. So that's why I got like so in love with the food and like a fresh food, not adulterated. So when I came to I went to culinary school in Poland, and then I went and got my master's degree from Polish literature and writing. And when I came to the United States, I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? My English is not so great. So I'm just like going to start to cook again. And so I had 4 health food restaurants and a couple coffee shops. One was actually really quite famous in Sedona, Arizona. It was a vegan and raw food restaurant. And then I moved to Boulder and I started to do personal shopping, and then I became kind of sick, and I didn't know what to do and how to put all the stuff together. I read a couple things on the internet and here and there, but it's just like you need that knowledge to put everything together. So I went to a couple of doctors, and it's like they weren't helping me. So I'm just like, okay, I gotta do something, and I went to nutrition school. So while at the school, I just like put all the information together, and I kind of like got better. So yes, I had estrogen dominance, I had gut issues, candida, food sensitivities, weight gain, I have MTHFR mutation, I had vitamins and mineral deficiencies, anxiety and panic attacks on a regular basis every day, severe PMS, high cortisol, adrenal fatigue, leaky gut, and neurotransmitter imbalances. And that looks like a lot. I was sick, but everybody who looked at me, they were thinking that I'm not, that I look good and everything. So I call this like a healthy, sick syndrome person, that on the outside you look good, but in the inside you're not. So it was natural for me to get into hormones because I had a lot of hormonal imbalances. So I got interested in that, and during the nutrition school, besides what we studied, I got into studying the hormones. So that's why I want to talk about this today. So hormones are chemical messages, and they travel in your bloodstream to organs, glands, and tissues. And they're involved in many different body function and processes, so like sexual function, reproduction, metabolism, mood, growth, and development. And our hormones need to be balanced. So I want to say that women hormones are more delicate than men hormones, and if one is off balance, then another goes out of balance, and that's just like a chain reaction. So we have 3 types of hormones, and one of them is amines, and they're derived from amino acid, tyrosine, and include adrenaline, tyrosine, and forgive me, I can't pronounce this word.
We can't either.
Proteins and peptides. So those are like fat-hating, they're not water soluble, and they cannot freely cross the plasma membrane. So there's like insulin, glucagon, leptin, and oxytocin, and the steroids. So the steroid hormones, they play like a huge role in our body, especially in the women's body. And they're fat-loving sex hormones like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and they actually produce from cholesterol. So it is important to have a very healthy cholesterol in our body. So nowadays everybody say you have to have low cholesterol, you have to low cholesterol, but that's not really that's true. If you don't have proper amount of cholesterol, you're not going to produce enough hormones. And like my partner, he has a very low cholesterol, like literally he has 95. And the lower part is supposed to be 150. And there you go, depression, anxiety, mood swings, That's what causes the low cholesterol. Everything, you know, and our hormones are so connected to our brain, so everything that we eat, it also impacts our brains too. So endocrine glands are special groups of cells which make hormones, and hormones are very powerful, and when we have too much of certain ones or not enough, it can cause serious imbalances in our body. And endocrine glands are like hypothalamus and pineal gland, pituitary gland, which is like a master commander, parathyroid gland, thyroid gland, thymus, adrenal glands, pancreas, ovary, and testes. So the best hormone test to do, it's called the Dutch test. It's a dry urine test, and they keep improving it and keep adding new things to it. Why I use this test? Because it's very accurate. I mean, the blood test is the most accurate, but it's only the most accurate in that 1 minute you're taking the test. So it's not going to tell you like the whole lot. It's going to be accurate, but it's not going to tell you how your body functions in general during the day. And this one, you just pee on a little strip and dry it and send it back to them. And it's super important for women because it tells you how your estrogens are metabolized. And if you have too many bad estrogens, that cause breast cancer, ovarian cancer. So we have to really taking care of clearing that bad estrogen from our body. What it also tells you is about the total cortisol and free cortisol. And there's not too many tests that are actually going to tell you about the free cortisol. This is the cortisol we utilized for daily functions. And it is not cheap. It's the cheapest one is $499. If someone wants to take that test, I can give you $100 coupon off. What also it shows you how your methylation is working. And methylation is a part of liver detoxification where you metabolize and remove your hormones from your body. So this is like really good indicator how your hormones are running. So what can we do to balance your hormones? Most, reduce stress. This is huge. Stress impacts our hormones tremendously, and it's so if you there's a process in our body called pregnenolone steal, and pregnenolone steal is a matter of hormones. And if you have too much stress, cortisol is going to steal your progesterone. And progesterone for women is the hot hormone. Yes, it's a reproduction hormone. So if you don't have enough progesterone, you're never going to, you're going to have a hard time to get pregnant. And during the menopause or perimenopause, you're going to have a lot of issues and mood swings and all kinds of different things. And heal the gut. This is huge because we also have hormone receptors, and we're actually producing hormones in the gut. So I really like, if I start to work with a person, I always first start with the gut. We need to heal the gut. We need to get rid of food sensitivities and allergies and any kind of bacteria is running around there. And balance your blood sugar. This has to do with cortisol. So if your blood sugar is imbalance and has those cortisol spikes, the insulin is constantly up and down. And if there's too much insulin in our body, what do? Insulin is a fat storage. We just store everything in our fat and our bellies. And love your liver. This is the second part I usually start to work with people and with women, because we really have to make sure that our liver is running properly in order to remove our metabolized hormones and all the toxins. And nowadays, there's toxin everywhere. They said I think 75 billion pounds of toxins are produced a day in only the United States. So this is 25 pounds a day per person. And all those diseases that we have right now, this all caused by the toxicity. We never used to have the same diseases, and we never got so sick. So now, when we go to the, we can eat well, we can do this, and we're still sick. So why are we still sick? The toxins. So it is important to eat clean and organic food, yes. And if we do all of this along with the adrenals, and then nothing is helping, we really have to take care of our trauma and our emotions, because person will never get better if it doesn't heal the sexual abuse and so other parents' loss or something like that. We really need to work on that. And we need to rest and, you know, taking care of ourselves. And we were just so busy that we hardly have time for ourselves. And even, you know, small, like one detox bath once a week, it would be great. Go on a walk and spend time in nature. This is super important. Exercise is important, and not the exercise what somebody else is telling you to do, the one you actually like to do and you want to do it, because otherwise you're not going to do it. And minerals your body. We're so deficient in vitamins and minerals that we really have to, there are cofactors for every bodily function in our body, and if we're missing minerals, then we're not going to be well. So this is just simple foods if you want to start on a better diet to avoid caffeine. Caffeine is bad for women's hormones. Bad. Sugar, also processed food, wheat and gluten. Alcohol is also bad for women's hormones, because if we drink alcohol, our liver has to work 72 hours to remove alcohol from our body, and it's not focusing on other hormones and on other toxins. So other toxins, they're just being stored in the fat. Dairy, which is not, if it's not cultured, cheese, fried foods, nitrates, and preservatives. And that's all for today.
So are they, is caffeine and alcohol okay for male hormones? Because that was what I was getting.
You know, men's body is more resilient. And women hormones are really like delicate. Like, no, they're not great too, but just...
No more coffee house.
Yeah. No more coffee.
No more Irish coffee.
All right.
Do you have any questions for Angie?
Yes, I do. So I'm really curious. So with the progesterone deficiency or the progesterone-estrogen imbalance, would you actually, I guess your recommendations were pretty clear, but like outside of that, what's the quickest and dirtiest way? Do you think like those progesterone creams or whatever people use, does that work?
Well, they work. It's a quick fix, but you know, if you're really deficient in progesterone, it's a good way to start. And then you have to take care of your liver. So it's like a lot of work on your liver. So you have to take special kind of supplements and eat special kind of food and do detoxes and just really love your liver and heal the gut. Because estrogen is produced in the gut too, by the gut too.
Gotcha. And so I have another question. The test that you mentioned, is that the only way to find out the progesterone estrogen imbalance, or is there some other?
No, there's some others and more simpler ones. This is very comprehensive, and they add also neurotransmitters this year. So this is also good because it you know, shows you how your gut is working. So it's like connected. It's amazing test. So you get a lot of information over there.
Do you translate it for people when they get the test back? And you're like, okay, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. So you can order that test by yourself. I'll give you $100 off coupon, and then you can come to me and I can review the test.
Gotcha.
Do you also test the gut bacteria to see what's going on?
Yeah, I also do that too. I work with some tests, not all of them, but yes.
Wow. What can we eat?
A lot of things.
And when?
A lot of things. The best food for balanced hormones are cruciferous vegetables, right? And food with choline, like eggs. So, like, start with food, right, and then add other things. So what I was also want to say, I had my genetic test read, because I did a 23andMe, and this lady was crazy. She was talking for 4 hours. I was like, oh my God, there's so many information, but it told me so much that everything just got even more connected with my health and my problems, and I have genes that I have too much oxalates, and oxalates are really bad if you have them too much in your body, and just can screw everything up. So it's really, you know, if you connect the dots and you know what to do and how to do it, it's great, and that's why you need a nutritionist or a functional medicine doctor or someone like that.
One more, and then we'll have a one-to-one.
My wife's rheumatoid arthritis is going out of control. She's in pain in every single joint in her body. And I think I need to find somebody who can do fasting and real controlled dietary stuff. Is that something like what you do?
Yeah, have she even done any allergy test?
No.
Or elimination diet or something like that? No.
No, but we need to do something.
So you usually start with people like that with elimination diet and see if she's allergic or sensitive to some inflammatory food, and especially for rheumatoid arthritis, like the nightshades. and gluten and dairy. So that would be like the three I would remove first. Yeah.
Nightshades, potatoes,
Potatoes, yeah,
and eggplant.
tomatoes,
Eggplant,
eggplant.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Angie, I appreciate
Yeah,
what you have
very
to say.
good.